are headed down south. 28-degree weather, some icy patches, some slick stuff on the road. We're headed down to a place called South of the Border. Why, you may ask, we would want to do that while it's snowing? Well, we didn't know it was going to snow when we planned this little escapade, and yet here we are. We're traveling today in a mostly mint condition 1989 Nissan D21 pickup. Out of all my four-wheel drive vehicles, I decided to choose the two-wheel drive vehicle today. 106,000 original miles. Drives like it's brand new. Fun little car, with the exception of not having cruise control, which kind of sucks. But nevertheless, it needed to be driven. I painted it. Used to be called affectionately the LRC for Little Red Corvette, and now it's black, so it's the LBC. Nevertheless, it hasn't been driven in a couple months, and it's been neglected, so we figured we'd get out and stretch its legs today. On our way down to South Carolina. South Carolina, just south of the North Carolina border, there lies a chintzy little, for lack of a better term, roadside attraction called South of the Border. I'm sure you've driven by it if you've been anywhere near I-95 in this area of the country. You can't help but look at it. You can't help but avoid the 150 miles in every direction of cheesy signs and whatnot, advertising Pedro, come on down kind of vibe and whatnot. And I'll give you a little background on what we're going down to see. 1950, a dude named Alan Schaefer decides to build a beer stand just down below, like literally like 75 yards past the North Carolina border. Why, you may ask? Because Robeson, I've heard both my whole life, county in North Carolina was a dry county. Therefore, you couldn't get any alcohol. And what do most people do that border up against and butt up against places that don't have alcohol? They serve alcohol. And then they pull all your people out of your town and get the tax revenue and everything to come over to their municipality and imbibe, as it were. So Alan Schaefer builds this beer stand. He starts selling beer, and it just goes gangbusters because people are having to travel, 150 yards to go get beer, go back to their house and chill out with their Keystone Light or whatever else. Slowly, this migrates into more of what we would call a roadside attraction. He starts adding gift stores and all this kind of stuff. In like the early mid 50s, he adds a motor lodge, hotel, motel, whatever you want to call it. And then it later just keeps going. There's a gas station and all this stuff. And it was kind of cool because I think he just really lucked out with building the gas station and becoming what it was, because back in the day, you had to be Rand McNally. You had to know where you were going. You didn't just pop into a Sheetz or a Buc-ee's every 12 miles, You had to plan on gas. And people that were going from New York all the way down to Miami or Central Florida or whatever on vacation, bam, they would plan to stop at this particular place because it was pretty much the halfway part for, traveling the East Coast and the East Seaboard and whatnot. So, long story short, which I know is very difficult for me, because verbosity is just it's my kin, it's my friend. But he basically just builds this into an empire. And it eventually turns into things with zoos. They build a 200-foot sombrero platform. They got, all kinds of rides and a hat store and gift stores and restaurants and, adult bookstores. They got a convention center. They got all this stuff, that some of which is dilapidated, run down, and, debunked and gotten rid of. But a lot of it still survives. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go down there and kind of review and check out what's down there, because there's so much kitsch. Now, when I say the word kitsch, yeah. You may not know what that is. It's just a weird German word that basically means taking something legitimate and kind of cartooning it up, making it funny, making it mildly offensive in a way, but just making it kind of fun, right? All those weird roadside attractions you see, 80-foot dinosaurs and, Paul Bunyan and his Blue Ox Babe, all that kind of crap. That's all examples of kitsch. And this is what this is. It's just a bunch of kitsch. It's corny, it's cheesy, it's mildly ethnically offensive, to some people, because everything is based on this caricature of a guy named Pedro, which is this stereotypical garb, you know, that you would imagine someone in Mexico, someone's BMW didn't fare too well with a guardrail back there, you know, and all that, and it just is what it is. Rumor is that everybody that works there goes by the name of Pedro, like when they're working. And amazingly, there's like 300 people that work there. I don't know where. I haven't been there since I was a kid. You know, we used to drive through there several times a year on the way down to Myrtle Beach with my parents. And me and my sister would always, you know, like probably every kid that went through the, hey, can we stop? Let's do that. Can we stop? And my dad's blazing through, you know, blue hair blowing in the wind kind of thing for all the people standing outside. But we never got to stop except one time. I don't remember why. I don't remember if they just gave in or we just happened to be running low on fuel. But we stopped one time. And I got to go up in the sombrero, which apparently is constantly broken. I don't understand why, because elevators, they make companies that fix that stuff. In fact, I've talked at length with guys that work at the Schindler Corporation that does repairs. It's not that hard to fix those things. They're actually repairable. So I don't know why it's, you know, the main attraction at this place, and yet the elevator stays broken. You can't go up in it, you know. Clearly, I mean, to me, anybody would pay $10 to go up in a 200-foot sombrero and look around. Somebody lost their Toyota Tacoma. Apparently it's not as four-wheel drive as it looks. You know, so I don't know what's up with that, but we're obviously not going to get to go up in that because my understanding is it's closed. The Reptile Lagoon, I did call ahead and confirm it is open, so we'll get to see some cold reptiles. You know, that's kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, we got to stop there one time when I was a kid. I don't remember much about it other than the hat, and Lord knows what it was back then compared to what it is now, you know, bigger, smaller, whatever. But what I was getting to is they employ like 300 people or so in the surrounding areas. Marlboro County, Dillon, South Carolina, Roland, all these little towns that otherwise wouldn't have much industry at all for people, you know, to have jobs. So actually a really good thing, you know, when Alan Schaefer died after getting indicted for federal voter fraud and all this other stuff that happened later on in his life, it's kind of an interesting tale, but he had amassed a wealth of like $50 million in his estate, you know, which obviously leads it to keep going. I mean, its heyday was probably in the 80s, but, you know, it still exists because it's so convenient to everybody, you know. And there's word that, you know, he used his political clout to have I-95 moved real close to south of the border so that he could feed off of all those people running down the highway, because supposedly it was supposed to be like 30 miles east of there, and it would have clearly spelled the doom of that place. But back to the employer, you know, he was pretty much the only one that, you know, allowed anybody to, you know, get a decent job because he had so many available. And if you know anything about Marlboro County, Dillon, South Carolina, not really a hotbed of median incomes, if you know what I mean. A lot of poverty, a lot of low income lives and everything down there. So to a lot of these people, you know, these were jobs that were just not found anywhere else. So it was a really good employer, and at one time was the biggest employer in Dillon, South Carolina. So again, a lot of history. We'll talk about some of that stuff. But more than anything, we're just going to review and check out what's going on down there, because it's just crazy that, you know, you live that close to something and you don't check it out. Because I haven't been there since I was probably in middle school, you know, 11, 10, 12, I don't know, somewhere around in there. So I've driven by it a couple times since then, but I've never come close to stopping. So today should be interesting. You know, we'll see what happens and all. And so what are you going to do other than fasten your lap belts, tighten that chin strap, and let's see how this goes. Just a quick update. We just rolled into Rockingham. Roads were a little treacherous about an hour ago. All these shade and overpass areas were very icy. We're now above freezing down here in the lower part of the state, so it's okay. But Rockingham, interesting city. We're getting ready to pull into the Sunoco, Texaco, whatever this thing is, that pretty much everybody on the eastern side of North Carolina stops at on the way to the beach before they get on Highway 1, or yeah, I think it's Highway 1. This has got to be, at least in the summer months, the most popular, busiest gas station in North Carolina. It's insane how many people stop here. Food, fuel, they have a Hardee's, so there's that. to Shell. No, that's not it. It's up here a little bit further, isn't it? Yeah, because it's next to a Waffle House. I think there's a Waffle House next to it. Waffle House. Yeah, there's another one for the ages. Yeah, that's not. I don't even know how that place stays in business. The only way that place stays in business is people don't know about this place. Same thing with this BP. You know? But at the same time, these bathrooms in this gas station, they're just wrecked. I mean, the toilets look like they've been rebolted to the wall 97 times. It's just crazy, man. Yeah, the Waffle House across the street. So, where are we turning in?
Oh, it is a Sunoco.
Yeah, it's a Sunoco. And today, because nobody's going to the beach, not that popular. So,
It's Hardee's time.
yeah. So we'll,
Does Hardee's have the Whopper?
a Whopper. That's Burger King. Hardee's has a thick burger, I think, is what they're now currently calling it, unless they've changed it up. You go inside or go through the drive-thru?
Drive-thru.
The drive-thru. So Hardee's it is, because we're gonna be starving before we get to Pedro's overpriced food. So back at you. All right, we made it, as evidenced by the amount of marketing that is on the side of the road. And as we come into view, you can see that sombrero in the far distance,
Yeah.
just glimmering. There's the Silver Slipper, their video, poker, internet sweepstakes, internet cafe as it used to be called, skilled arcade, by any number of things. And as we go under I-95, here we are.
Woo!
Calm down.
We made it.
Hey, let's act like we've been here before.
But I haven't.
There we are. This is Kitsch Emporium.
Whoa.
All right, we'll catch up with you when we get out of the car. So, a little blustery, so I have to talk loudly. But man, like, this must have put the fiberglass business out of, just put it on its butt back in the day, because who built all this stuff? You know, you got all these, big old cheeseburger. You got the lodge over there taking a selfie with a big old hot dog. You know, it's kind of crazy. But basically, you've got several hundred acres of madness, of things that are in, some in disrepair, some are just rocking and rolling, some are just various shades of whatever. Gas station, chili dog, the hot tamale. We're walking over to the 200-foot tower that, as I said, I fully expect to be closed and inoperable. But it is kind of cool. I don't know why they don't let you just walk up the stairs. What's wrong with the stairs? That's how you'd get down if there was an emergency. It looks like they've taken... Yeah, look at that thing. It needs to be pressure washed. Look at this. We'll walk over here. There's an arcade in the bottom. We're going to see if the tower is able to go up. I imagine that these people probably get 8,000 times a day. They get sick of saying, yeah, the elevator's broke. You're not going to be able to do it. And that dude in that van smoking weed. So, yeah. So, back with you in a minute. Yep. As expected. I asked the lady if it was open. She said, very dejectedly, as if A, she's tired of saying it, and B, she's disappointed in management because they've placed her in a place that makes her say that 400 times a day. But I said, is it ever open? She's like, no. And I said, and we can't take the stairs? She's like, no. It's kind of sad. It's a common theme with her, and it's odd that snow is currently coming down. Some kind of precipitation in South Carolina. It's not normally this cold, right? It's not normally this cold down here.
Oh, I'm feeling better now.
I'm not asking about you. I'm talking about the weather. It's not normally this cold down here.
Not really.
All right. Thanks,
No problem.
meteorology. Okay, so let's walk over to the El Toro Mexico Shop West.
Cool.